Hey everyone, Randolph here, and this is
What?
Dan. And Dan, what are we talking about right now? We're talking about Amazing Spider-Man.
We're talking about Amazing Spider-Man.
Which is a movie tie-in, yeah?
It is, but it's not one of those crappy movie tie-ins that they normally make.
Oh, that is high praise indeed.
It is.
What
I was super skeptical about this one
Yeah.
when I went to see it, just because there's a history of really bad
Yep.
movie tie-in games. But from what they showed today, I'm actually pretty interested in playing this.
Okay, let's start with story. So it is a tie-in to the upcoming movie, which is out in July or June, I think. But
Yeah,
it
so it's
does
gonna
tie
be-
into that, right?
Yeah, it's coming out to coincide with the release of the film, and it's going to be an epilogue. So it's
Yep.
going to be events. The game events are going to happen after the end of the film.
Okay.
And Beanox, who are now the lead Spider-Man studio for Activision, are working really closely with Sony Pictures because there's the Sony Spider-Man universe and there's the Marvel Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, and Beanox has done the last few
Couple of them, yeah.
Spidey, and they've been quite good
So they
quality.
did
yeah?
Shattered Dimensions
Edge of Time?
and Edge of Time. I think they also did, yes.
Okay, yeah. So what did they show you today?
So they showed a lot of the free roaming type stuff, and probably one of the big differences with this game is that you don't need to go and look out for points to fix your web to when you're kind of swinging through the city.
Yeah.
The camera is now much, much closer. So in
Yeah.
previous games, they said they didn't like the feel that it was almost like a puppet master style thing where you were just a blob in the middle of the screen and moving around. So it's actually really up. It's probably even closer than a Gears of War style over the shoulder view, and it's really personal, but it works so well. It really captures that cinematic look.
Yeah, because it does look really cinematic, and you can see Spidey flipping around
Yeah.
and doing all that stuff, right?
And the cool thing is that apparently they had to go through a lot of iterations of the game to get to where they're at now, because they had to focus test with a whole bunch of different ways of doing the look without making people feel sick
Yeah, I was gonna
or
say, yeah.
losing where they were in the world.
Yeah, because if it's closer, you actually would get a sense of vertigo, right? If you go really high, is that
I
right?
thought so, but it's actually it didn't bother me at all. And they were doing the swings all the way up from like high building level all the way down to street and then swooping back up, and it felt really natural.
And so it is an open world, right? Like New York's an open world in this one?
Yeah, it's in Manhattan,
Yeah.
and it is an open world game, but they've got huge light pillar markers.
Yep.
Once you select or find an objective like you would in an open world game, it marks it. So even when you're swinging around, you can always see where it is you need to go, which is nice.
Yeah, now I had a look at this game at GDC, so that was a few months ago, and the sense I got from it was trying to go a little bit sort of Batman Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Did you get that vibe as well?
Yeah, well, they got rid of a lot of the kind of cartoony elements of Spidey's of past. You
Yeah.
know, there's no more big web hammers or kind of kitsch stuff. Now it's they're basing a lot of the combat on lucha libre, so like Mexican wrestling.
Really?
And yeah, and it's really fast and fluid, and there is a dodge, so you'll get your Spidey sense as someone's coming in for an attack. Almost look like stink lines, and you'll dodge and flip over someone and reset combos as you're doing your combat.
So it seems like a fairly sort of like Batman, it seems simple, like the combat system, but there's some finesse that you need to do with it, and
Yeah.
you can automatically counter if you see someone coming in.
I don't know if there's an automatic counter.
Oh, not automatic, but like you said, the stink lines.
Yeah,
right?
I
Like
think
the Spidey sense.
Yeah, I think it slows down slightly, and you can evade and then go into the next one.
Yeah.
And it was all really, really fluid. And one of the cool things that they showed off is that now that Marvel's all about digital comics,
Yes.
they've actually penned a deal to be able to bring full Spider-Man comics to the game. So
Oh, wow.
you'll find them kind of a page at a time.
Yeah.
But I got the impression that you'll be able to either read them in game or then kind of go out to a browser almost and see like the full high def, not quite scans, but
Yeah.
the digital pages and read them in their entirety, which
Oh,
is really nice.
Dan, come on! This E3 has been all about the second screen. Did they say you can then read the comic on your iPad or your Windows
Wii
device?
U.
Or your Wii U?
You can read it on the touch screen.
They
No,
didn't say anything like
they
that.
didn't mention that, but that would have been a really good question.
Missed opportunity, be
Damn
nice.
it.
Yeah. So what else did they show you, man?
They showed off the open world stuff. They mentioned that Bruce Campbell's going to have a cameo speaking part in the game.
That's not a spoiler, is it?
I don't think so.
No.
He's in an airship, I think it was, floating around the city, yelling out not so encouraging things at
Which is
Spidey.
where I'd imagine Bruce Campbell would be anyway.
That makes
in an
perfect
airship.
sense.
Yeah.
They also showed off some of the web rush stuff, which is a kind of a hybrid of slow-mo, as you've seen in some of the movies of the past, and a way to automatically jump to points in the world. So they're almost cinematic, quick jumps where you go into Spidey mode and you can
So you-
jump to a point
Yeah,
and then
you-
just hang and look cool.
Yeah, so you point Spidey to a place in the distance you want him to get to, and then he just does all these acrobatic moves
Yeah.
to do it.
Automatically to get you there.
Yeah, but you can't interrupt it. So if you decide to take
Oh,
a
yeah,
different path, you just like press another button and you
And
you
control
take
the
a
stick and
different path.
manually run off walls and all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah. So that was really high praise at the start, Dan. So do you reckon this will actually be a good movie tie-in game?
Yeah, look, from what we've seen so far here at E3 and from what you saw previously, they're obviously Spidey fans, they're big Marvel Universe fans, and I think they're doing a really good job with this one.
Okay, and do you know a release date? Is it coming out around the same time as the movie?
As far as I know, it's June or July to coincide with the film, and it's going to be out on all the major platforms.
Okay, thanks, go.